Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning to one and all. Now we finished off with the unit test portion of unit 3. We are on the 4th unit. That's your unit 4, which has 4 lessons in it. 2 poems, 2 prose, and the first 4.1 is please listen. The poet or the poetess name is unknown. That is why it is written out here anonymous. Anonymous means unknown. Here the poet is going to inform you, is going to tell you about things what we should do before reacting, before doing any reaction or before showing any form of reaction in that way. The poet is telling us, please listen in that way. So it is in that manner that we have to listen first rather than do anything in that manner. It's very important, these 2 words, please listen. You've been hearing it from the kindergarten days, that is from your KG class. Please open your book, please listen to what I'm saying. Please be attentive in class. Please listen carefully. Please do your working in a particular manner. Please do your homework. Please open your textbook. Please listen. The word please listen means listening very attentively, listening very carefully, listening very cautiously to the sound that is being heard to your ear. The difference between listen and hear is great. Listen means you have to pay very careful attention, very careful form of listening is cautiously, carefully, consciously, so that you understand what the person is speaking about. You can draft out the points, you can jot down the points. Be a good listener. If you listen carefully, if you listen in a conscious manner, if you listen precariously, cautiously, then you can be a good speaker also. Listening is where you have to be very attentively, very cautiously towards the voice that you are trying to understand. Something where you got to understand the sound, something where you have to think about what is actually happening. So this word please and the word listen has been told to you right from the kindergarten days. And today, even in 9th standard, you have a poem which is having the title Please Listen by an unknown poet. 3 major points are there where you have to understand the poem thoroughly. So it is very important. Please listen. If you don't listen, you are going to have some problems, because you can't sum up anything, you can't make predictions, you can't make some uncertainties, or you can't just keep it as a guesswork. You can't just say, yes, I'll do it, I thought I'll do it, I made guesswork. Instead of writing wrong, right, you've written true and false. Instead of saying yes, no, you've written correct, incorrect. So things have to be listening. If you listen very carefully, you understand the question properly, and you will answer the question also correctly. So the poet or the poetess, whoever it is, has told you 3 things on this poem. Please listen is very important. So let's start off with the poem. When I ask you to listen to me, that means the poet is asking what? Please listen. Your class teacher is saying, please listen. Your subject teacher is saying, please listen. Your coordinators are saying, please listen. Your co-curricular activities are telling you, please listen. But are you actually listening? That is very important. So you start making up things in your mind. You can't just keep doing anything by your will, your way. It is obviously there are do's and don'ts, pros and cons, positives and negatives. What is supposed to be done, what is not supposed to be done. So please listen. The word please listen has started to you from that very minor age of 4 till today, and it's going to continue in your life ahead till you are, it is from the cradle to the grave. Please listen. When I ask you to listen to me and you start giving me advice, you have not done what I have asked. First question. The speaker is telling you to please listen. But what does the common man or the audience or the spectators or the people who are present out there? They start giving advice. They start telling you, do this, do that, suggestions, examples. I ask you to please open your textbook. What do? You start fiddling with your compass box. You start fiddling with your water bottle. You start roaming your hand into the satchel, but you are not removing or opening your textbook, what you have been told to do. The important thing is listening. What the question is, do what the answer is. If you listen to the question correctly, 100% you are going to get the answer correct. And if you don't listen to the question correctly, it is but 100% you are going to get it incorrect. First 3 lines is explaining to you. When I ask you to listen to me and you start giving me advice, that means I am telling you to do this. But what you are doing? No sir, do this in that manner. No sir, do this. No sir, take this in this manner. Sir, if you stand up, you will get better. Sir, if you sit down, you will do better. No, I have asked you to open your textbook. So you open your textbook. Instead of telling me, instead of giving advice to me or informing me to do something else. So please listen carefully. Please listen consciously. Please listen attentively. What the orator, what the speaker, what the person, let it be any XYZ person, he or she is explaining something in brief or in detail. You have to understand the thing. That's your first point. And the second stanza, which is of 4 lines, first stanza 3 lines, second stanza 4 lines, third stanza is of 5 lines, and have 3 different points in it, which you have to remember right through your life, which has been used from the minor age of 4 in school, but that has been told to you at home also. Your mama, your mummy, your daddy, your abbu, whatever you might have call your parents in that. dad, mom, so on and so forth. So it is saying that you have to understand by listening. Listening is not hearing. Hearing is something different. When you listen very attentively, very cautiously, very consciously, very precariously, so that you understand what the orator, what the speaker, what your teacher, what your parents, what your cousins, what your relatives, what your friends are informing you, are instructing you, are telling you. That is called listening. Second point, the poet or the poetess is informing us. When I ask you to listen to me, again the poet is telling you, listen to me, please listen. And you begin to tell me why I shouldn't feel that way. You are trampling on my feelings. First one was, please listen to me, you started giving me advice. Second thing is what? I asked you to listen to me, and what you are telling me now, you are telling me that treat one feeling as worthless. That means what I am telling you to listen, and you are telling me what you are informing us, it's just worthless, it's non-beneficial, it's negative, it's just prediction. Where that particular thing is in air, where it cannot be practically done, where just like bookworms. No. What is there in theory will obviously come into practical. Don't just underestimate any person. He or she may be good or bad, that doesn't make a difference. But you are not a person who is going to advise him. You are not a person who is going to direct him. You are not a person who is going to tell him what to do and what not to do. What are the pros and cons, what are do's and don'ts, what are the yes and no of life. So when someone is asking you to listen to the person, because his own feelings are different. Unless you listen to the person, you will not understand the feelings, you won't understand the emotions, you won't understand his or her expressions. Say for example, I ask you, come here brother, come here boy, come here friend, come here student, go and do. I've just said go and do. By the time you've left the class and gone, what will you go and do over there? What I've told you go and do, you've left the class. What does that mean? You are not listening, because you've gone out of the class without the complete information, without the complete instruction. Go out and do what? So listen very carefully. Please be a very good listener. If you listen to the complete question, complete sentence, complete statement, you are going to get everything correct. So it's very important that if you please listen, you will get the worthless part as worthy. Please go out, get me water. Please go out, meet the principal. Please go out, call the peon. Please go out, tell your parents that you are in the class busy, you will come and meet your parents later on. Please go out and do your work, or please go and meet your friend outside the class. Or mommy is saying, please go out and purchase some salt. Daddy says, please go and bring the book from the table. Daddy says, please bring my mobile phone, or just give a call through my mobile to some XYZ person. So please listen is one word which has many expressions, many treatments, many feelings, many emotions, many things to understand. You can't just underestimate the person who's in front of you, because what are his or her feelings are different from what you have in your mind. Please listen very carefully, very cautiously, very attentively, precariously. Third one. First one, please listen, you start giving advice. Second one is, please listen, you underestimate the person who is telling you, informing you, instructing you, giving information to you. Third one, first stanza 3 lines, second stanza 4 lines, third stanza 5 lines. When I ask you to listen to me and you feel you have to do something to solve my problem, you have failed me. Strange as that may seem. Now the third part, the poet is telling you or listening, telling you to listen to him or her. Please listen. And you feel to do something to solve the problem. What is the speaker telling you? What is your teacher telling you? What is your parent telling you? What is your XYZ person telling you? Please listen. And what do you start doing? Finding solutions, finding answers, finding corrections. But you're not listening. You're giving solution to the answers which you've not heard the question of, which you don't know the question actually. That means again you are hurting the opposite person's feelings. You are underestimating the person, because if he has a question, obviously he or she has a solution to it also. He is not asking you for the solution. He is not telling you to give information for that. He is just asking you to please listen. If you listen, you will be positively working in a particular manner. You have failed me. You have failed me means you are not listening to me. You have failed me means you are not listening to me. Like 9th standard students at the start of the year, academic year 2021, I give you 20 points instructions. Later on I gave the same thing it was handwritten first, 20 points. After that I made a PDF of that, and again the points reduced to 16 points along with the internal assessments also. I give you the whole year portion for the first unit test, second unit test, first semester, second semester. Everything was given to you. Did you read it? Did you carefully have gone through it? Did you do it in a conscious manner? Did you do it in a precarious manner? If you have done that in every particular way, it is but obvious you will not have doubts, because it is written in very simple English. Yet, even though 8 months, 6 months have passed, 7 months is in process, yet the children are having the same mistake. I have asked them to leave one line and write, not done. I have asked them to put question number, not done. I have asked them to write title, not done. I have asked them to keep the spelling correct because the meaning changes. So it is but obvious that things have to be listening. You listen to your parents, you listen to your elders, you listen to your seniors, you listen to your younger ones. All these things are listening. It is from the cradle to the grave that you have to listen. To be a good listener, you have to be very calm, very cool, very peaceful in such a manner. So it is very, very important that the first 3 stanzas and the first 3 verses, which are having 3 particular meaning, in that way, so it is telling you what it is having. 3 stanzas, 3 verses, telling you 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines, giving you 3 different questions. First one is, please listen, you start giving advice. Second one is, please listen, you start giving the understanding. Now we finished off with the first 3 stanzas, which consist of 3 lines, 4 lines and 5 lines. So that's enough for today. We continue in my next lecture with the next stanzas, which are not in proper poetic form. That is why this poem is in a conversational manner. There is no, it is just a freestyle poem. Any questions, any queries, any doubts, most welcome to call me. As and when you feel free to call me, I am available 24/7, 365 days in a week, in a year. So, thank you. Jazakallah wa ma alana illal bala. Assalamu alaikum.